Hi, welcome to the Christian Indie Writers Podcast, where we inform, encourage, and support Christian indie writers on their journey toward publication. I'm Jamie Hirschberger. I write short fiction under the pen name J.R. Nichols.
I'm Jennifer Hagerman, and I write historical Christian romance.
I'm Christina Catane, and I write in many genres, including Christian fiction.
I'm Rhonda Hagerman, and I write fiction and nonfiction.
Sorry about that, Rhonda. We didn't actually assign who was going to go next, so.
I know. We should not go off script. That does not. Well, I mean, I can't say it doesn't go well, because how often have we said that we've said so much off script that we wish that we would have been able to put into a program?
Especially this morning.
Yes. Okay, well, I digress. We start every episode with a little segment called What's Up? It's where we check in with one another to find out how we're doing in our business and our professional lives. So, what's up with you today, Jen?
Well, personal life, when we were getting started this morning, Rhonda sent us a picture via our Facebook messenger. And so I went over to Facebook to see it, and my memory popped up today that said it was from 2017, and I'm going to read it because it's definitely worth, I thought I had it up handy here. Anyway, it says from 2017 today that I got the call from my doctor that I'm cancer-free. So this is my 2-year anniversary. I didn't even realize that. So thank you, Facebook, for pointing that out to me, that it is definitely a time to be celebrating. So personally, that's a really great thing, even though I feel kind of cruddy today because I didn't sleep well last night. Professionally, I am in the drudges. I know people talk about how hard editing is. Right now, I don't know if you call it writing or editing or redrafting. I don't even know what the point is with my book 3. But I spent hours yesterday struggling to get it into a story structure. Because when I first wrote this, it was the very first book. When I decided I was going to be a writer, I sat down to write it, and I just pantsed it. And the writing is okay, but the structure's a mess. So that's what I'm doing right now, is restructuring the story. That I love the story, which means I have to cut a lot of fat that is actually not bad fat, but it's not good enough fat. So it's just a very painful process. So how about you, Tina? How are you doing today?
Well, I'm kind of struggling with bronchitis. Just want to forewarn everyone. So if I get into a coughing fit, I'm going to mute myself and you'll know what's going on. My 15-year-old just started driver's training. He's the last of my babies. So it's kind of a bittersweet kind of thing. And I bought this awesome planner for writers, and I've been working that, and I feel like I'm going to get a lot accomplished this year.
Yay. That's awesome, because that kind of goes hand in hand a little bit with our topic today. So can't wait to talk more about that. Good for you, Tina. What's going on with you, Rhonda?
Well, let's see. January 1st, we started our writing hours. I don't know if you're going to talk about that today or not, but that has really helped keep me on track. I haven't always tried, but it was a resolution for me to try to write every day. And the extra accountability has kept me on track with that. So I'm really excited about that. I've got my first draft of my nano novel done. So Yay. I'm super thrilled about that. And because my mom and I had made some changes to it over the Christmas holiday. And they just dropped right in there, just like they were a missing puzzle piece.
How did you celebrate? I want to know. Did you do anything to celebrate when you were finished?
Yeah, I said, "Yay!" That was my party.
Do you guys remember the first time I finished a manuscript? What I did?
Yes, you took it and you put it up by your face like this, and the papers all, remember?
I did a video for our Facebook group, for our writing group, and it was the first video I ever did on Facebook, and here we are now doing a podcast and a video cast. But I celebrated that way. I was like, it's done, the first draft. And then this last one, I just said to you guys, I decided it's done. But that was it. So I just wondered if you celebrated it all or not.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a whole Bollywood dance number when I finish Lost.
I'm so looking forward to that.
Yes, I will be disappointed if you're not telling the truth.
I'll have to take a trip to India, but No.
We can set you up. I know people.
Oh. Okay.
All right. Well, before we move on, I'll just let you know that I have ordered a proof copy of my Second Nature book. It's book 2 in my series. Yes, I'm very excited. So the print proof is coming in the mail. The ebook is sitting there waiting to be published. And so my deadline to publish is in 3 days. So I don't know if I'm going to publish the ebook and say the print book is coming because, like a lot of people who I'll be saying, hey, guess what? My book is available are going to say, let me know when I can buy a print copy. Because that's just the nature of, friends and family and everything. I know people who have never read an ebook. Never. Not even one time. Not even because it was free or whatever.
And these are avid readers too, right? Because I know people like that.
Yes. And so I'm just like, fine. But because I feel like then you've announced and now here you are talking about your book again. I don't want to be like an annoying person. So we'll just have to see what I decide to do. I may just bump my deadline too. But then what if I get the proof copy and I don't like it? So I may, that's a decision that I have to make. But I'm very excited because that will mean I've started off the year meeting a goal of getting that book out there. So happy me. Personally, everything is just kind of swimming along here. So
I was going to ask you, Jamie, if you were going to do like a box opening video? You know how lots of authors, when their book comes in, it's a lot of fun.
That does sound fun.
You can either do it yourself or you could be on with us so that we can.
Well, yes. And then that would be a good way of bringing up the subject again, because I think you guys know what I mean. I am not a big fan of the read my book ads that perpetually are popping up in people's social media. And I just am not going to be that person. And so I don't want to be repeatedly in everybody's face about it. But I think that would be an appropriate way to bring the subject up again. So
that'd be a great podcast for us to talk about appropriate ways to promote your book without being annoying.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because
also, go ahead.
I was going to say, because we are all in plenty of groups that people don't know the answer to that and are very annoying. Like if I'm in a Christian writers group, but other Christian writers are pushing their books, and I'm like, that's not what we're here for. It's great to let us know that it's released, but to continually, hey, it's on sale today. You're here to talk about the process of writing and whatnot. But anyway, that's a little pet peeve of mine.
Well, yeah, and I think, because I was going to say the impetus for starting this sort of podcast is because we're looking for information without a sales spiel necessarily.
Yes.
Okay, so we have been very excited. It's a new year. It's very early in the year at the time of this recording, and Rhonda has been the bullet journal gal all throughout the history of the podcast. And Tina had said, Rhonda, I would like to do a bullet journal. I just don't even know how to start. And so they were awesome and put together a little presentation for us to get us started and turn us into Bujo babes. Is that what we're calling us? We need some kind of clever Bujo babes. Yes. So if you always wanted to be a Bujo babe, stick around. We're going to transition right now into that demonstration, and we'll be back to read our weekly writing and all the rest of that good stuff after. So take it away, Rhonda.
So Tina, let's talk about Bujos today.
I'm so excited. I've been wanting to do a Bujo for a while.
Well, I think they're great. Well, let's talk about the benefits of a Bujo. So sometimes there's so many thoughts floating around in your head. All of them want attention at the same time because they're just floating there. So the bullet journal is an amazing way to organize your day, organize your thoughts, give you time to think about one thing at a time. And you can do a good job at that one thing you're thinking about. So the original bullet journal was created by Ryder Carroll. He's a godsend because I have been looking for this solution my entire life. So I've been using a Bujo probably about 4 years. And sometimes I get really creative with them, and sometimes I don't. It depends on what's going on in my life at the time.
Okay.
So,
well, we made this nice PowerPoint, and I'm just going to do a screen share here.
Okay.
so that I can share the screen, the PowerPoint with everybody.
Perfect. You did a fantastic job on this, by the way.
Thank you. So can you see that then?
Yep, I can see it.
All right.
Okay. So all you don't need any supplies except for just notebook and pens or pen. There are so many supplies you can buy out there. You can buy stickers, you can buy stamps, you can buy $75 notebooks for this, but really this is $1 from the dollar store. And I think I paid $5 for this one because it was pretty. And seriously, so just get a notebook and a pen if you just want to get started today. So you think you don't really have to know what you want to put in it right away. You just start on the first page and you can brain dump right there on the first page and then determine what categories of pages you want in your book. Or you can say, I want a calendar in there and start the first page with a calendar. You can say, I want to have my daily writing chores, put that on the second page. But eventually your book is going to get so full that you'll need to find the pages. So really there's two ways to do that. There's the index and then there is color coding. So you don't really need an index.
Okay.
One reason to use an index is, for instance, my book, this one here, this is my writing journal. Everything is black and white. And so many of the pages start to look alike. So what you can do is just write page 72 character ideas or page 14 plot ideas or whatever you want to write. So that will be an index. It's very general. You don't have to start on page 1 is this, page 2 is this. You just write on this page, you just write character traits, page 72. And then on the next line, you go down to whatever your next entry is. Or if you're really organized, you can do it chronologically.
So do you go through and number all your pages then?
Yes. Okay. If you do an index, you do. Yep. So in my writer's journal, I have a small index just of the pages that I want to make sure that I can find quickly. So that's what that looks like.
Okay.
So I've got Better Novel Project Outline, my October and November logs, title ideas, blah, blah, blah. So I managed to go chronologically in mine. So if I can do it, then you certainly can do it. But in my daily journal, for my cleaning and other household chores, that I like to get creative in. So I don't have any sort of an index because I can remember when I flip to my cleaning page, I've got like a mop and a broom doodle on it or whatever. Or on, say, my menu page, I've got all these fluorescent colors. So I just can flip through and find it really quick. So that's not as important to me on that page. Another thing you can do is just have sections. Say, I'm probably going to have 10 pages of habit trackers. So you can say pages 1 through 10 are my habit trackers. That is really getting organized. And that's not my point for using a bullet journal. So that is not what I do. But you're certainly welcome to.
Okay, that sounds very you can make it fit your life.
Yes.
I don't know what the word I'm trying to find in my head is, but it's very changeable according to whoever you are.
Yes. That's the thing. There are no rules. You don't have to follow any rules. Your bullet journal is your own. You can put the index on page 72. I don't know why I keep saying 72, but it doesn't have to be on the first page like most people's. It can be in the back. It can be wherever you want. It doesn't have to be in there at all.
Okay.
So, okay, what do we have next?
Color coding.
Okay, color coding, that's my favorite because I love color. I cannot get enough of color. Now, unfortunately, my bullet journal with the color coding isn't right here next to me, but I do have a small sample of it right here, down at the bottom of the page. These are for my, so when you flip through my book, you can see what I determined was going to be the color orange, which is plot. I just flipped through here and everything has anything to do with plot is orange. And that's really helpful for me because when I've got a thought in my head and I want to find whatever idea I had really quick, that's the best way for me to do it.
Okay.
Where other people might use an index, say, great plot idea, page, I don't know, 14. So
Do you ever
another,
put like tabs? You know how they have planners and then they have like the little tabs that stick out beyond the book. Do you ever use anything like that?
I do. Let's see. The one that I did all tabs one. Actually, this one I used on the side here. I love washi tape. I am so passionate about washi tape. So on the edge of my page, so when I flipped through, I knew that this washi tape I had labeled for, I think that's my menu page.
Oh.
And then I've got a glittery red one, which was for a particular day that some really great things happened that I wanted to look back on and maybe journal a little bit more in the future and that sort of thing.
Oh.
So,
and that's a good excuse to buy more washi tape.
Yes. Yes.
I love washi tape.
I've got so much washi tape. It's stupid.
Washi tape is awesome.
Yeah. And another thing you can do, the journal that I don't have with me right now, I'm afraid I left it up north. I have a half a page that's a fold out. And so the pages that I want to be orange, I have a little orange circle and I wrote, say, menu next to it. So it's on the back of my journal. So I just have it folded out. And when I'm looking for my menu pages, I go through and I look for the orange pages. And it's right there. So I don't have to remember, now, why are all these pages green? Oh, yeah, that's because that's my gardening page. Or, you know, what did I mean by purple? Oh, right here it says that purple is, I don't know.
So it's kind of an index at the back that folds out so you can see it if you need to.
Yes, and you don't have to worry about writing page numbers. You just look for the color. Which
yeah,
is
I like that idea better than going through and numbering all the pages. And
yeah, because it is tedious. And you can buy journals.
What if you put plot ideas on page 50 and character ideas on 75, and then you run out of room? Like you run into page 75. Because you have more plot ideas than character ideas or something. So I like the color coding idea so you can just do what you do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's why I don't section my journal, because I never get the right amount of pages. I either have way too many or too little. And so I just use up one page right next to the other.
Okay.
All right. What's next?
Future log.
All right. The future log. Oh. All right. Which book did I have that in? Is that slide number 3?
I believe it is.
Okay. So the future log is basically just a calendar. So this is the monthly future log. Sometimes I draw them in. Sometimes I buy a calendar at the dollar store and paste it in. I don't mind having different thicknesses of my pages. One year my Bujo was this big at the spine and this big, at the edge, because I had so much stuff stuffed in there. And I'll probably do that again sometime. So in the monthly log, that is, well, let's start with the yearly log first. The yearly log is just a 1-year calendar. And I also do calendars from the dollar store because it's faster. So I'll just put January, February, March, just paste those right in there. April, May, June, and just go down the year. And then what I do is I circle the dates that have something going on. And then on the page following that, I have all the dates listed out, 1 through 31 or whatever the dates are. And I write down why I highlighted those dates.
Okay.
So you can see your entire year. Say you want to schedule something for November 2nd and it's March 1st. You can look, oh, November 2nd, I have a meeting. I can't do anything else that day. So you look at the next page and see, oh, it's a flaws meeting. Oh, that'll be fun. So you know what that is. So, and also, so I've got one color for my important dates, the ones that are set in stone, that will not be changed. And then I have another color that is for tentative dates. And that's usually a colored pencil that I can erase because those dates change. Like all of our podcast recordings, those are in colored pencil because especially around this time of the year, we've had to switch some things up. So it's been easy to keep the book looking neat just by erasing instead of crossing out.
That's a good idea.
All right. So that's the yearly. Then you go on to the monthly. And the monthly is this one that I've shown you. And there, those aren't so much tentative, but you can still write the tentative in there. It's getting more specific than the yearly.
Okay.
But it's not as specific as the weekly. I personally don't use the weekly because that's just getting to be too many calendars. After the monthly, I go on to a daily. Okay. And sometimes my dailies are just as simple as this, where I write the dates down and I just write one thing right after the other.
Okay.
But then other times, my dailies are, depending on how much time I have to be creative in my journal. My dailies are, they've got my to-do list. They've got my thoughts for my future log. They've got my menu for the day. And also optional things if I have extra time or suggestions for maybe a book I wanted to pick up or, you know, if I've got extra time at the end of the day where I'm thinking, what do I do now? I never have extra time.
Mm-hmm.
So
in the PowerPoint, it says, including you put in there requirements to accomplish your tasks. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yep, that would be another box in one of my big ones. So say that you want to mop the floor. You don't have any floor mopping solution. So you know that tomorrow that's going to get moved ahead to tomorrow. And because you're not going to drop everything and run to the grocery store unless it's already on your list. So you either add it to your grocery list for tomorrow so that you can mop tomorrow, or you have already done that. So you can do it today. Does that make sense? I don't feel like that makes sense.
It kind of does. So you're saying that if you realized that you needed a mopping solution, you would write that down. Right. And then you would migrate that task to the next day.
Yep. Now, to translate that to writing, say that you wanted to be inspired by a particular writer's YouTube video before you write a scene. So the day before, you would watch YouTube video. That would be part of your to-do list for the day. And then the next day, you would be able to write the scene. Or even you just say, I need to do this before I start writing the scene. Because if you have a deadline you've got to meet, or for some reason you want to write the scene, but you're in a no Wi-Fi area, for instance, if you see that that's on your list already, then you can account for that and say, oh, I can't leave the house yet. I have to watch the video. Then we'll leave and go do whatever. And then you will have been prepared for your task.
Okay. And it's always good sometimes to watch videos like that and then have time to just chew on them a little bit before it's time to sit down and write.
Yeah, that's
so
very
then
important.
It reminds you to do that ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So those are, the requirements are just tools that you need to get the task done.
Okay.
All right. What's after daily?
Habit tracker.
Oh, the habit tracker.
I feel like I need this one really badly.
All right. The habit tracker. I have a few of those. I love habit trackers. They're fun, but it's also a way for me to procrastinate by designing them. Okay.
I feel like that's what I would do. I spend a lot of time planning out what I'm going to change.
I know. Yeah.
And then
planning how to plan. Yeah.
kind of, lose interest by then.
Right. Yeah. It's like you've satisfied that need. Okay. So these are 2 habit trackers from a few years ago. And all it is, it's a list of my daily goal for writing on this one. And then I just would check it off, or I would write however many words that I used. Or not used, but wrote. And then this is the exact same thing over here. I just like both of them. I didn't know which one I was going to use. You can see this particular one, I didn't use either one of them, but I still think they're cute. Another habit tracker. Let's see. I think it's on this book. Here's a habit tracker that's good for writers. I can get to it. Where are you? There it is. Okay. This one I love. That was during my week of vacation, so I didn't fill it out. As you can see, I didn't do anything. But social media is so important these days, especially for self-published writers,
Right.
that I needed to make sure that I got all of my social media in. And when I was using this tracker, I was doing really well. So after we're done here, I'll be adding that back into my book. So I just have all the days of the week, and I have all the social media that I want to make sure I post on. And it's just a graph, and I just fill it in as I've done it. And that's something else I use color in because it makes me happy to use color.
Color makes me happy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So there's so many different ways that you can use trackers. Graph is my favorite just because I like the blocks being filled in. You can use circles. There's one tracker that goes around Nano where it's a doodle of a bookshelf. And there are enough books in there to account for every day's worth of 1,665 words. And every day you just color one of those books in. Or one year I wrote a title of a different book that I read during the year, or my favorite books or whatever. So that was a different way to fill them in. So once again, use your imagination. You can start with the basic graph, and then as you move on and fill those in, think of a different way to do it. And because writing those book titles in really helped motivate me that year.
So this could be as simple or as creative as you want it to be.
Yes. Yep.
That's awesome.
I really started bujoing. I started it because I wanted an excuse to buy more washi tape and to kind of have a little crafting session every morning. But the benefits of it started accumulating so fast. That's why I stuck with it.
I like that. An excuse for buying washi tape.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Okay.
what do we have next?
Collections.
All right. Collections. This is really fantastic for writers. This has been so helpful for me. So I have a collection basically is just one page where you write a whole bunch of similar things down. And an example of that would be, here's a blank one for character names. And I didn't finish that page, obviously. But I have a different one in my current Bujo. Ways to write a stronger character. Let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, this is another example of a collection, which may or may not be a collection, but it is to me. So there's a book called Story Genius. and it's got exercises to do in the back. So I have a page that is I kept all of my answers to her exercises on the same page. And that was really useful to me because I used to have a really bad habit of just jotting down on whatever scrap of paper I could find. Collecting everything on the same page like that has been fantastic.
Yeah, you won't lose it that way.
Right. And you don't think, if you've answered a previous question in a similar way, then it forces you to think, how can I answer this one differently? Instead of just, it makes you be more creative instead of falling back in the same old routine all the time.
That's a great idea, and I really love that book too. Also,
did you read it? Oh, yeah,
Story
really
Genius.
good.
Yeah, I have it here somewhere.
Yeah, I've got mine right here, actually. Okay, here is another collection, and this isn't like really Bujo legal, but I did it anyway. So, in the hero's journey, as you know very well, there are all the character archetypes. So what I did is I put them all on index cards so that they would be right here with me and I didn't have to flip through a book, because this is the only thing I keep with me when I write, except for, my computer. I want to glean all of the best parts out of every plotting book, anything to do with writing. I want to glean all those and put them all in here for my own use. And so when I would, the story that I won Nana with a couple years ago, which was horrible, and I don't even know if I'll be able to save anything from it. I was new to the hero's journey, and so I wasn't very familiar with these archetypes. So I was able to, when I was writing something about Anna or whatever, I would go back and say, oh, she's supposed to be doing this right now. And her character wouldn't be doing this. So it just helped me with that. And having
That's
it right
really
there.
awesome, because I have The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell. I also have A Writer's Journey by Christopher Vogler. And then I have a bunch of graphs and charts that people have made up with The Hero's Journey diagrammed. And so they're all in these different places, and it would be awesome to take all that information that I'm constantly like, okay, what book was that in?
Right.
And have it in one place.
Right. You're saying that perfectly.
I'm excited now to get started.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad.
Okay, so we had another slide here of another list of collections. World building.
Yep. Oh, I've got my title suggestions here. Let's see, what do we have? The Ends Are Fraying. Maybe. Those Who Surrender. Fingerprints in the Dust. I like that one.
Ooh.
Oh, that actually is a little inspiring to me right now. So, so really you can add anything in here that's helpful to you.
Yeah, I like that one, first sentences. Like sometimes that happens to me where I just get this great idea for the opening line of a story and somewhere to write it down.
Yeah. Either you don't have a scrap of paper nearby or you write it on that scrap and then it's gone in who knows, like 3 seconds. And then the thought is gone out of your mind and you think, oh, I had a great idea. What was that? But if you put it in your Bujo, there it is. So I keep this with me all the time. It's always in my car or in my purse. I try to have one small enough or a purse big enough to put my Bujo in. So it's always with me. To be honest with you, okay, so I'm a piler and I've got a filing cabinet, but everything's piled on top of the filing cabinet instead of actually being in it. So that's gone now because almost everything that was in that pile is in my Bujo now.
Oh.
So this looks way neater and less frustrating for my husband than a pile.
That is an awesome idea. I am so inspired right now. I think that's the end of our slideshow.
Yeah.
So we're
All
going
right.
to turn it back over to the regular podcast and share some of our work with you.
All right. Are you all feeling babylicious now? You all are equipped to get started with your Bujo. But every babe has like a fancy outfit, right? So Rhonda, how could we like personalize our Bujo, kind of make it more fun? What tips do you have for us about that?
Well, if you're a doodler, I like my book to look minimalist. So basically, mine is all splashes of washi tape for color or for making page dividers or the book divider. So I use color for that, but mostly I've just got my black Sharpie pen that doesn't bleed through the back. That's very important if you want it
These
to look
ones
neat.
here.
Yes.
Oh.
They're
Yes,
the best.
exactly.
Love these. Yep.
Okay,
Me too.
and stop, because you said washi tape, and I remember the first conversation I ever heard you talking about that. I'm like, what is she saying? What is she saying? Wachi? Is she? What is this?
I was speaking Japanese to you.
It's this lovely stuff.
Ah.
I'm
So it's
trying to
not
find
duct
the-
tape.
That's what
Oh, Jennifer, say something. You have some in your hand.
Oh, yeah. I got these along with other things I'm going to show from the lovely Rhonda for
Mm.
Christmas. We all got little gift bags. Remember what? There's Tina's.
Tina, talk so we can see you.
This is I think that Rhonda gave me this one too.
Mm.
And then you just pull it off and you can put it on all kinds of stuff.
It's really interesting because it kind of reminds you of like surgical tape or whatever but it sticks. Like surgical tape does not, in my
It's
opinion.
not as thick as surgical tape.
And it like you can bend it in half and then like make a border around your paper, right?
Yep.
Because I learned that from y'all, like I said, washi tape. And if you've never heard of it, you're like me, you're going to go into the craft store, you could be like, look at this whole section of stuff that I never even knew was here. And you're going to be like, this is a whole new world.
And you'll want to buy them all.
Yes.
So bring lots of money.
So
Right.
forget Pokemon hunting. This is a new thing. You have to
Right.
go hunt for the washis.
Right. And Tina had mentioned that she has this author planner book. I have it too. The Ultimate Authorship Planner. I'm not endorsing it yet because I just got it like a couple months ago. I've been working through it. So more updating that. But because I got frustrated, couldn't find things. I had to keep going back to the table of contents. I pulled out my washi tape. And you can see that I made my own little tab so that it was easier to find. So it doesn't have to be just for your Bujo. So
That's great. Well, and what you had in your hand was sort of a pre-done Bujo. Basically a Bujo is kind of like a planner, isn't it? Except it's the ultimate in flexibility because you can kind of, just change your mind and put this here or there, right? So it's kind of along the same lines.
yeah, like I had never done a Bujo before. And Ron and I have had this conversation. I've always done like a happy planner because I'm lazy. Like every time I would see someone's Bujo or I'd watch a video online, I was just like, seriously, who's got time for this? I wanted something that was like already done for me. Like, okay, so I scrapbooked this one a little bit. This is from last year. So like I never really saw it, but after watching Rhonda and Tina's video and receiving some nice presents from our good friend Rhonda, look at these cute little stickers. Like, seriously. Like they're just adorbs, like little check things and like that you can buy. This is where I'm gonna end up broke because this stuff. Forget the tape. This is and you said use your black Sharpie, but you also gave us one of these color pens, which color coding. Hello,
Yes.
like
I love color coding.
the only thing that I love more than color coding is checking things off my list.
Mm-hmm.
And so this gets me excited. So after watching it, I think I'm gonna give it a whirl, even though I always told you I wasn't going to. I think I'm gonna give it a whirl, and I think I'm gonna take because you'd mentioned in the video going and cutting out calendars from dollar store calendars and gluing them in. That's me. Like I'm not gonna hand draw my calendar and like do all the make it and draw a little fish when we're gonna eat fish. I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
But I glue a calendar in, that makes total sense to me. And then again, there's a lot of things in this book that make sense to me, but I like the size of this way better than my Happy Planner. Like my Happy Planner just was not portable, even this when I had a small version of it.
Mhm.
So I like the fact that I can pick what I like the best out of each of these things and photocopy them or pull them out of a dollar store thing.
Yeah.
Handwrite it myself in there, like story ideas have a section.
Mhm.
Like I didn't think about it in those terms. I always thought it was like a huge project that I didn't have time for. So yeah,
Well,
I
and
really
There's
like that.
tons of websites that have printables
Mhm.
that people have created for Bujo calendars, Bujo checklists, all kinds of stuff. And you can go in there and see what they've created and download it, print it off, and paste it in.
Well, and I think that the important thing to remember is Bujo is a shortening of bullet journal. And if you just kind of more think of it as like a journal, but that
Mhm.
happens to have more elements of organization, maybe it helps it to seem a little bit more approachable because you're really just kind of like journaling about your life also. Do you know what I mean? So it makes
Mhm.
it feel a little less structured and intimidating than, say, a planner. I'm going to plan my life, organize my life. Instead, you're just like journaling. I think that was really key in selling this whole concept.
Yeah, because like I like the Happy Planner a lot, and it would organize my schedule and my finances and things like that. But like my writing was always somewhere else. And I like this authorship planner, and it has all this writing stuff and things I didn't even think about that I should be keeping track of, which is very cool. But it doesn't have like my calendar. So if I could find a way of marrying them in my own fashion, the way that I think, into something like this, that's
Mhm.
extremely portable, I think that it will actually work for me. So I'm excited.
Ultimately customizable. Great job, ladies.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that information to us. I so appreciate it. Okay, so we did our writing exercise before we started recording. Every time we get together, we spend the first 15 minutes writing a short story or piece based on a prompt that we decide just on the fly. So we don't have any time to plan or think, and we only have 15 minutes to write. This week, we had 5 words that we had to include. Tina, would you like to read the 5 words?
Sure. Curriculum, circulate, technology, supplementary, and satisfaction.
All right. And I will volunteer to go first because I cheated. I have to confess. When we were finished, I added like 3 words because my sentence did not make sense without the 3 words. So my penalty for cheating will be that I will go first. How does that sound?
Sounds
All
good.
right. So here's my 15-minute story. And don't forget your turmeric, she said, adding another bottle to the heap in my reusable shopping basket, which she had looped around her elbow as she paraded me through the store. What's that for? Helps the blood circulate more efficiently. I thought that's what the cinnamon was for. Cinnamon is okay for circulation, but that's for your blood sugar management as much as anything else. I'm finding it impossible to keep up with you, I said, meaning both mentally and physically. She was a sprite of a girl and nothing of a little thing, the top of her head barely reaching the bottom of my chin, and likely able to wear one of my trouser legs as a strapless dress. She had been racing through the store for a good half an hour, tapping her finger on her chin as her eyes roamed the field of labels on the shelf before her. I lumbered along behind her, my eyes barely able to focus on the section headings above the products before she made a selection and tossed it into my basket, along with a 30-second description of said item. I know it's a lot to take in, the sprite said, turning to give me sympathetic eyes and a gentle pat on my arm. It's a lot just in general, I said, wondering how much cash I had on hand and if the store took plastic. I was going to say more, but she was off again. This time she was in front of a cooler. Rows of bottles filled it. They looked to me to be much the same as the other bottles. Omega-3, she said, grabbing a bottle off the shelf. I thought I saw a price tag of $42.99 and rubbed my eyes to look again. I was so distracted by the price that I forgot to listen to the reason I needed to consume this liquid platinum. Are you going to give me some notes? I'll never remember all of this. Are you going to give me some notes again? Is there like a curriculum or something you can give me? Before you know it, it will just be all part of your daily routine, she assured me. If I told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. Cutting out the crap in your diet does very little without the right supplementary support. Supplementary support. The words made me think of bra shopping with my ex-wife. Not a good association. I looked around for a distraction among the rows of pill bottles and plastic jars. Look, a candy bar, I almost squealed. Look a little closer, she said, not even turning in my direction. I did. It was something called pressed figs. I put it back down. Well, is there some kind of candy in this place I could have? You'd think with all the technology today, you can shop for candy on your own time, Tinkerbell chirped. Need I remind you of what you are paying me for my nutritional expertise? Oh, no, no need to remind me, I said, rolling my eyes. Shandy Charlotte, health coach, life coach, satisfaction guaranteed, I said, rolling my eyes again. That's right, she said. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Chromium.
Yay.
That was so good. You
gosh.
obviously have been into a health food store recently.
Have you been in a health food store recently? Was this
Not
like
recently. It was that stand-up guy. Did you see that I put on my Facebook?
Oh my word. That was
That
so funny. I
husband,
was laughing
He's
out
married
loud.
to a hippie. It's clean. There's no swearing. And it's like he thinks his wife is adorable. You know he loves her to death. But he's like talking about how he has to eat bread with sticks in it and stuff.
the
Because
acorns.
I haven't had white bread in 7 years. It's so funny how he does the
I'm not
bit.
making Skittle sandwiches.
I think it was the soap that had sticks in it, and he scratched and he cut himself in the shower.
Have you ever
On the
bled
soap.
while lathering? So funny. Oh my goodness. It's really
All right,
good.
I'm going to share it to our Christian Indie Writers Facebook page so that
Yeah.
everyone watching this can go take a look.
It's really funny. So anyway, that's kind of
punchlines, but
when I saw, okay, so here's the thing. I looked at the prompts and I immediately discarded like the first 4 ideas I had because I felt like, nah, you know what I mean? They're going to be the usuals, you know? And so when I saw, I don't know what it was, the circulation. So I started to think about supplements and then it all went from there. So that's how that came to me. All right, so yes, I added her name. Like I finished out her name, Shandy. I just had Shandy. I had Shandy Charlotte or something. Anyway, I added a couple of words right in there at that sentence at the end.
that was a clever sentence. I liked it.
Oh, thanks.
I like the whole thing. It was really good.
Oh, thanks. So let me see. I got curriculum, circulate, technology. So yes, I got them all. Hooray!
Yay.
My favorite words were lumbered along, Sprite, liquid platinum. The bra shopping reference was hilarious. And at that
Yeah.
point, like, it's a dude. Like the whole time I thought it was a woman, and then you said it's a dude. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
even better. Like it was great.
Yeah.
Great.
I like Sprite as a proper noun.
Thanks.
Yes, that was awesome. Good job, Jamie.
Awesome. Thanks. I'm glad you liked it. So in my little window, Tina is next on my, or no, actually it's Jen because her face is big. So big face
Oh.
Jen.
My
If you've
favorite
never done a
thing.
Google Hangout before, what happens is like whoever is talking is the big face and then all the other little faces are down. So anyway,
Except
so Jen.
for me, because I'm the actual person recording, it
Ah.
like so like you when you're watching yourselves on your screens, you're never big, but everybody gets a chance to be a big head on this end. So all right, but I will go next. It is not funny. It's not like I don't really know what it is, but I like it. So
Is it
we'll see.
your characters? Is it from
No,
your
nope, it's not.
Good. Okay. Interesting.
I normally do not struggle with tense because I always stay in past tense. That's just how I write. I write historical, so that makes sense. But I struggle with tense in this. You'll see if you listen carefully that I started in past tense and kept moving into present tense, and I kept going back and correcting it, and I finally was just like, who cares? And so it ends up in present tense. So you'll see. Technology is not my friend. I did my best to not roll my eyes. I sat stone-faced on the couch next to him, wondering what current piece of technology was not meeting it to his satisfaction. Your iPhone is brand new. You should have bought a Samsung. He did not disguise his eye roll. Not talking about my phone, smarty pants. I'm talking about the stupid TV, which, by the way, is a Samsung. What's wrong with the TV? I asked, more than a little hurt that he had referred to my Christmas present as stupid.
Aw.
I just want to watch SportsCenter. I don't want to have my retina scanned or give a DNA sample to do so. Is it too much to ask? I grabbed the remote from him and hit the button clearly marked DirecTV. The screen on the TV lit up and began buffering. See, he said, clearly exasperated with having to wait more than 3 seconds to watch replays of last night's Pats win over the Lions. I don't think the technology is your problem. This ought to be good. He turned on the couch to look at me. Pray tell, what is your assessment, Dr. Phil? I ignore the barb. Patience is your nemesis. No, that's not the problem. Wait, What channel is this? I looked up. The Hallmark Channel. He groaned. Please, no. I refrained from giggling as I handed him the remote. He opened the guide and proceeded to circulate through the channels the long way until he reached ESPN. You know that the channels are alphabetized, right? He looks confused for a moment but doesn't answer. The replays are already in session, so I am lost to him for the next hour. I grab my book, happy to be a supplementary accessory for the time being. I don't mind, honestly. I know a lot of my friends would moan the time their boyfriends spend watching sports, but I don't. He never minds how much time I spend reading, and nobody said you have to enjoy the same things to enjoy each other's company. I lay down on the couch and rest my head on his leg.
Yay!
That was really good, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry you said it's not funny because I laughed several times.
Yeah, I guess it was I didn't realize it was funny, I guess. So.
Yeah.
It's
I
hard
don't
for
know
me not
why
to.
bickering couples is funny. I guess if it's not you, it's like
Yeah.
Well, it reminds you of the last time you were bickering.
I think what it is you're like, I wish I could be that clever with a comeback. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Or,
If I can only type everything to my husband, I'd probably be the wittiest person in our arguments ever. But yeah, I don't know why, because that was only like 15 minutes and I had to think of all that on the fly. But in an argument, I'm like, well, yeah. Well,
Let me get back to you.
you're mean. He's not mean. I'm just kidding.
well, great job.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
That's that. I think that this exercise is really, really great. Like, don't you just feel like you could write more? I don't know. It just
Yeah.
gets the brain going.
Mhm.
Awesome. Okay, Bambina Tina, what do you got for us? Can
Okay.
you read it without hacking? Do you need one of us to read
I
it?
think I can.
All right. If you go mute, we'll know why.
Yeah. Okay. Charlene sat at the dining room table with curriculum pages spread out in front of her. Some days the decision to homeschool the kids seemed like it was the wrong one. Little Jimmy had been whining all day, not wanting to practice his letters or his math facts. Susie had found a book she loved during reading time and disappeared behind the couch, not stopping at the appointed time to switch tasks. Charlene hadn't noticed until much later that Susie was even missing. "Where's your sister?" she said to her oldest son, Thomas, who shrugged his shoulders. He had headphones on, supposedly listening to a math lesson, but Charlene had a sneaking suspicion he was actually watching YouTube videos. Technology was a wonderful thing that made homeschooling so much easier in many ways, but sometimes it was also a curse. "What is that lesson on?" she asked Thomas. Well, algebra," he stuttered. She gave him a look partway between withering and surrender. Her second oldest son sat near his brother, tears streaming down his face. "What is wrong, Charlie?" she asked, trying to hide the exasperation from her voice. "I don't get it," he said. "I hate fractions." Suddenly, Charlene heard a sneeze from behind the couch. She went over and peered into the space between the piece of furniture and the wall. There was Susie, a blanket over her bottom half and a book in her hands. She looked up at her mom sheepishly. "I have to know what happens," she said. "That's it," exclaimed Charlene. The children all looked up at her, partly from curiosity and partly from fear. "Obviously, nobody wants to learn math today, or learn their letters, or do much of anything else, so I am declaring today an official supplementary learning day." The children all cheered. "Get your shoes on. We will pick an activity to circulate the blood. I vote for the trampoline park." The children all cheered again. They had had an awesome day of jumping and came home exhausted and ready to go to bed at the appointed time. Charlene smiled with satisfaction as she erased all the subjects from every other Friday on the pages before her and wrote in Supplementary Learning Day. "So, what was the big lesson for today?" her husband asked on the way through to refill his pop, feigning interest in the kids' education. "Gravity," Charlene answered, smiling to herself and gathering up the papers to put back in their binders. Then she grabbed her own reading book and blanket and sank into the recliner to enjoy the rest of her night.
Yay.
That was good.
You should edit that up and submit it to the old schoolhouse. I wonder if they would publish that.
Oh, no.
You should see if you can, because that's very encouraging and really a neat story. And we've all been there.
Yeah, I really liked the line partway between withering and desperation. Like, that's where I hover right now in life. Like, it's really how I feel about everything right now.
Oh,
And so, like, no, I didn't mean to make you feel bad. Like, I just feel like that's kind of where I'm at. Like, especially, and my girls are good. They're good kids, but like sometimes I can't tell you how many times I said yes to candy recently. Can I just say, like, it's just so much easier to say yes than it, like, give a reason why you can't have it right now. Like, yep, go ahead. Like, that's just where I'm at. So that I could really relate to that. And when the answer, gravity, that's hilarious. Like, I love that. So
I liked feigning interest in the kids' education.
Yeah.
That was really good. It said it so much in just half a sentence.
Yeah.
I really want this mom as my teacher.
Because you want to go to the trampoline park, right?
I would have as a kid. Now it looks exhausting, so no, not so much.
Awesome. Great work, Tina.
Thanks.
That's really, really good. And you got all 5 words. Good job.
Yep.
All righty. So, Miss Rhonda, your turn.
Okay. I don't know if I got the words in or not. I mean, I think I got a few of them. I don't know if I got them all.
I am not one to judge. I am lucky to get one of the words in.
Rhonda, there was one time that and Jen didn't get either one.
No words. No words.
I saw that one.
That was a great one.
Impressive.
That takes pure talent to
Yes.
ignore all the words and not realize that that's what you've done. That's
It's kind of like reverse writing challenge. Do not use any of these words.
Right.
It takes a true talent to be able to accomplish that. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's hear it, Rhonda. I'm excited.
All right. I toss the curriculum onto the end table before I head into the kitchen. I want to peruse the offerings as I nibble on the grilled cheese I've been plotting since I passed the Coney Island a few minutes ago. I don't know how they circulate the delicious smell of that greasy, crumbly hamburger sauce into my car as I drive by the restaurant, but it has to be some sort of magical technology that. As I smear the bacon grease on a slice of bread and drop it on the frying pan, I wonder if this grilled cheese will soothe my craving or if I will end the evening sliding into a red vinyl booth down the street later tonight. It occurs to me that a grilled hot dog smothered in spicy crumbled hamburger might very well be the perfect food. I smile with satisfaction over that insight. I reach into the fridge for sliced American cheese and my 2-liter. A groan escapes me as my fingers refuse to clasp the screw top lid tight enough to open it. Setting it on the counter, I inspect it and form a plan to get this jug of bubbly delight open. I try putting a towel over it, but it just slides. I try my silicone oven mitt, but I still can't grasp it tightly enough to make it budge. I make a few more tries before putting it back in the fridge. I finish grilling my sandwich, trying to figure out my pot predicament. I look over at my hat and scarf, which still glitters with melted snowflakes. I give the sandwich a final flip to inspect for a perfect tan on both sides of the bread. Reaching for the nearby bottle of Dayglow orange pills, I pop 6, which will ensure that I can open that darn bottle when I get home from the restaurant. The end.
Yay! Get home to the restaurant because she's head there right now.
Yeah.
Forget the sandwich.
Yeah. Can you tell I didn't eat this morning?
What are the pills? Are they like
They're
an
ibuprofen.
arthritis pill? Ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was
That's
one of my
like,
questions is why is she so weak? Like I'm like enjoying the story, then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, something's off. Why is she so weak?
yeah. There's like tragedy buried there.
Well,
It's not
I
just
have
a happy hot
arthritis
dog
and-
story.
I have arthritis in my hands, and I totally could connect to that because trying to grip something small like that to twist it can be really painful when you have arthritis in your joints.
Yeah. This is a character that I've been thinking about for a little while, and I thought that I would bring her to life today and see how it went.
Well, on a positive note, your Coney dog description is on point. Like without even saying what you were describing, like if anyone is from Michigan, Flint, Detroit area especially, they know exactly what you're talking about. And if they aren't from this area, you gave just enough description for them to figure out like what it looks like, even if they've never really had one. So that was
Okay, good.
good job. Yeah.
It was
Flint
quite
style
a
is the way to
Flint.
go.
It was very much a Flint style. Yes, I
Yes.
did notice. As
That
a
was
Detroit
good.
girl, I have to say.
I'm a
It was
Flint
much
girl.
better than the Detroit one.
Yeah, I'm a Flint girl and I prefer Detroit style.
Do you?
I
Oh, the
do.
sluggy bread. No.
My people.
Yeah, I'm your peep. I know. I'm like, for those of you who don't know, Coney Islands, Coney dogs are a big thing in Michigan, and it is a hot dog with like a meaty, kind of like a chili sauce, but it's not chili. So it's not a chili dog. Don't even say that what your state has is the same because
Right.
it is not. And there are two different schools of thought. The Detroit style is a much creamier, more like liquidy, I guess.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. The
Doggy bread
Detroit
inducing.
style is more of a chili dog. It really is. The Detroit
It is
style.
without beans, and yeah, there's no ever beans. And then the Flint style is closer to taco meat, but not. Like, it's hard to explain. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it's dry. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
should point out that Coney Island is an amusement park off of Long Island in New York.
Right.
But in
But the little
Michigan,
greasy spoons that we eat our Coney dogs at, those are also called Coney Islands.
It's
Yeah,
really
and-
funny because you know how there's like Michigan and Ohio State have like a rivalry, right? Well, so if a Michigan fan married an Ohio State fan, that would be like a big thing, right? Well,
right.
I'm a Detroit
I just
girl
had an
married
idea.
to a Flint boy.
Oh,
So we have the
no.
great Coney debate happens, right? And we try to convert the children. Like, okay, which dog do you like better?
Yeah.
I'm definitely with Rhonda on the Flint.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And I'm
Yeah.
devastated because my oldest daughter, I don't know how I screwed up raising her, but she is totally a Detroit style. I don't get it.
Oh,
You
fun.
lay awake at night wondering, pondering where you
Yes.
went wrong.
If you guys want to know where to get the best of each kind, send us a message. We will let you know. If you're ever going to be Michigan and you want to try Detroit and you want to try a Flint, we will tell you the best places to go. So hit us up.
Yep.
Great idea. I have a quick story. I know that we're running out of time, but I gotta tell this story because it's ridiculous and you guys are gonna laugh at me. When I was in college and everybody would talk about diners, the people that lived outside of Boston doesn't have a whole lot of diners, but New York, lots of diners. Connecticut, lots of diners. New Jersey, okay. I'd never been in a diner, and I had mentioned that, and my friends were like, "How could you never have eaten in a diner?" I'm like, "I've never eaten in a diner." And so we made a trip to Connecticut to one of my friends' houses. Like, she borrowed a car. We got it because in Boston we didn't have cars because it's a city. And we drove to Connecticut for the weekend, and I'm so excited. I get to go to a diner, walk in, and it's a Coney Island. That's all it was. Like, we totally have diners in Michigan, but we call them Coney Islands. Biggest disappointment of my life.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, that was really a lot of fun. I think that we're ready to sign off, but we're going to have our postcast as usual, exclusive to our Patreon subscribers. So become our patron and you get access to a critique session. It's kind of like dropping in on our writing group to see what that's like. We do full-on critiques of pieces that we submitted in advance. So it's not just positive, encouraging support like you get here on the podcast. It's nitty-gritty, show you how to give and receive critique. So I hope you'll join us for that. Until next time, may your pen be prolific, may your deadlines be met, and may all of your words honor Christ. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Jennifer really needs some sleep.
There he goes.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.